And this was asked to me by Pastor Omar Joandi. Even when I was at the height of my leadership at Nairobi Chapel as the second in command to Bishop, one time Omar asked me, Janet, who are you without Nairobi Chapel?
Welcome back. Hey, I know the title has shaken you and made you want to watch, but don't just watch this video. Go start this journey from the beginning. Brick by brick, brick by brick, brick by brick. That's what we've been laying. I like what you've just said right now behind the scenes. We are in the season of thrills before bills. The wonderful season of university. Let me say that Nairobi Chapel was hope and protection,
yes,
for you in that season. Your friends, your accountability partners, the people you hung around with was another. I live my life in the guests that I interview. So when I hear your story, I start saying, man, if I could have go back time, I'll do this, I'll change here and I'll change here. But also why I love that you've shared, there are people who are watching this who are in that stage. And so what you're giving them, I say there's four things CTA gives. Information, education, positive entertainment, that's why we're laughing a lot, inspiration, and also aspiration. So there are young people who are listening to your story and will copy the things that you've done because they've seen, okay, that's how she then got to that path. So thank you so much for sharing. I've said all that to just say thank you so much for sharing. I know we've spent some time here, but nothing is in vain.
Okay.
Team.
Before team, when you were talking about that, I said accountability is big for me. So even for college students, that it said that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. But also if you want to go far and be safe, please go with others. This thing of I'm living life, I'm living me, you do you, me do me, it actually won't take us far. And just allowing yourself a group of people that you can do life with, where you talk, you ask questions, you share goals, and ask people, keep me accountable, and big things. You'll be able to do a lot of big things. But again, even in the animal kingdom, when the lions are hunting, they don't look for the hard together. They look for the weak. They look for the isolated person, and they pounce. And so I think life also does that. And so I'm really, my greatest desire would be that even young people would have, growing up and doing life with 2, 3, 4, 5 good people in your life, and not just peers. Also look up. Who are some people who are 2, 3 steps ahead of you, people already in the working space, who can begin to give you tips on how things are, and they are close enough to your age. People who are newly in marriages and who can tell you the challenges and some of the joys, so that you're kind of prepping before you get to do it yourself. So for me, that's very important.
I'll ask a question that may sound small, menial, but how do you make friends? It's one thing to say, get a group of friends, but I'm thinking of the young person who's come from Eldoret, come from, how do you go about then making friends in a season like this?
All right, I don't think you should not gravitate to the first people you meet. It's not that simple. Some it could be, but I would say first, become the litmus test. What are things you want in your life? And who around you, even if you're in a new class. First, what is it that you value? If you have your own values first, figure out those 2, 3 values in your life, things that you don't want to compromise on. Then take time to study the people around you, and then see who's of like value. Because again, if you link yourself to people who are going south and you wanted to go north, it's very easy to pull you down. So taking time to do that, of course, I'll talk about me. I pray it up And then again, even though I've talked about this, later on in my life, because those stages, people move on. So even though I have a few of those friends that remained, as I went on to do life at a bigger space, I got to a place where one of my very good friends was Pastor M. Because we joined the internship together. We were not married. And in many ways, he's like a brother. And because we never dated, we never had those, but he was my friend, my best friend. To the place even when Pastor M was getting married, it was like, Aki, if society allowed a lady to be a best man, just no. Carlos, should have been my best. But the interesting thing, even in our friendship, Caro and Tim would gravitate and chat. Maybe because of church, us guys are in the front, would be talking church things. And I got to a place, I remember one time, Bishop Oscar, we were going down to Mombasa for, we were interns then, and he asked me, who's your best friend? And I said, but of course, Mureithi. He says, no, I mean girls. And that time I'm like, no. I said, it seemed to have disturbed him. I didn't understand. So when we get to the coast, the next morning he says, okay, Janet, sorry I'm throwing under the bus here, but let me just share this with the team here. I asked Janet who's her best friend. I remember we were coming from a time when we knew each other, life was simple, would hang out, would do work together, would all hang out together on Friday, Saturday. I said, I asked her, and she said, Mureithi is a best friend, and that's disturbed me. So we talked, and he went around the room and asked, who's your friend, who was your friend? But part of it we realized, because of being in ministry, you tend to assume, also, you do things together. Monday to Friday, you're together till Sunday. So Saturday, sometimes, you also hang out together as families. And it's the first time I thought, actually, I don't have women in my life. Then when you're a pastor, people take you very seriously. And you're supposed to be together all the time. And a lot of people who don't want you near their social circles, because they're like, to see. No.
What were you doing on Sunday?
I'm trying to get into Chama's Kumbe. Later they were telling me, my Chama currently, Saba Pulse. Apparently, the lady who went to say, oh, Janet wants to get into it, she was told, you and her will form another group outside. And you realize, at that time, it becomes a bit of a lonely space because there's a way people put you on the pedestal. There's a way people expect you to be. I come to your house, I'm proper.
Yes. And
I tell my friends, if you see me entering your house, and I land on the couch and I put my leg, you are my friend. So I remember that time when Bishop asked us that, several people actually, they were mentioning each other. And I said, no, guys, something is wrong. We must have a life outside Nairobi Chapel ministry.
Wow.
There must be something that has nothing to do with each other's stuff. Yes, it's great. We are a good team. We love each other. Our spouses know each other. Our kids hang out, but there has to be something else. Because if this ever moved, your whole life crumbles. And I was praying, I was saying, I want a group where we can do investments. I want like a group of ladies where there is, we can just girl talk. I want the same group to be women who we can have serious Bible study with. And I'd lumped about 5 things. And one pastor told me, imagine you'll never get people to do all those things, one group. And number 2, the people you wish and desire may be right near you, but you've never thought about it. And that's the first time as an adult where I consciously started asking God, give me friends. Give me friends where I can be myself. I can stand up and just dance and nobody's wondering what's wrong with this pastor. I can decide, oh, I didn't have a sister growing up. Where I can decide, hey guys, you know how sisters exchange things. Guys, I have this function and I don't have a fascinator. Who has one? I'll come to my house and pick one. I have those friends who will say, guys, I'm so packed this week. I don't even have a space in my life to do shopping. Who can help me? I need this. Somehow God brought those in. There were people I knew, but people I'd never have gravitated to. And so I have this group of women who, it was started as a chama, but now it's not quite a chama. We just love hanging out. And it's a once a month, we do life together, we just come and rotate. And our husbands see us and they bounce. Because they just know now here it will be from 10 o'clock till I don't know what time. And when the kids were younger, kids would even carry clothes to bathe there and change and continue. And I love that space for myself because I'm able to exhale in a safe, responsible place. I can just be a girl. And I don't have those titles, those things that I'm trying, oh, so you are the chair, you're the... No, I'm just me. And they understand. And they understand this, and I'm not being two different people.
Yep.
And then I have a group of women that we just study the Word of God together. And then there's another small group where now we want to do intensive prayer. Now that one we can meet at 5 in the morning on Wednesday, but it's... So having just those spaces allows me to be more than my job, to be more than my title.
Your title.
I can just be me, but ultimately, I think a defining principle for me in life has been, and this was asked to me by Pastor Omar Joandi, even when I was at the height of my leadership at Nairobi Chapel as the second in command to Bishop, one time Omar asked me, Janet, who are you without Nairobi Chapel? If we were to remove Nairobi Chapel, and I'd been there 21 years, who are you? Everybody knew me as Janet Mutinda. Oh, the pastor at Nairobi Chapel. Oh, you are the Janet. And if you were to cut that, who are you? And I'm so grateful he asked me that question. Because everything about me had been just Nairobi Chapel. And I remember meeting with Omar in Australia, and he said, this time you're here, let's answer that question. So we went out and he had carried some nice coffee, told me today, for half a day. And it was by a river. Me, I'll be Huko upstream, you be down here. Just think, who are you without Nairobi Chapel?
Wow.
And it was a very completely redefining moment for me. And when I came back with Omar and we sat and talked, and I told him, I actually don't know who I am. And that's all I've done since campus, because immediately when I finished campus, I joined the internship.
Yeah.
And we'll go back there.
Yeah, we'll go back. I
joined the internship, and that's been all my working life for 21 years. That's all I knew. That's where I'd grown, and that had become it's my religious group of Christian friends. It's my social life. It's my employer. It's everything. So I came down to the space and with Omar, just to the final principle where if nothing else in my life holds, may this always be true. Forget the titles, forget the connection. The greatest title is that you're a faithful child of God, period. So even through the seasons of my life where things didn't hold together, even with all the degrees and accolades, if you slice them out, that I can just say, I'm God's child. And I'm being faithful with whether he asks me to go wash dishes in Mathare Hospital as my next assignment, whether he sends me to be the ambassador in Geneva, or whether he sends, whatever he sends you, just being a faithful child of God, period. All these other things are
titles.
And nobody will remember those titles. When you are gone, they go. Yes, they'll say, yes, she was Dr. Reverend, all those things, but... So that really has helped me to define something about myself and remove... I'm not moved too much with the titles, and even my academic accolades, it's not a thing that I even put out there. So there are people who will come to my current place of work, New Life, and they hear me being called Janet, and they're up in arms.
Do you know
like, at the end of the day, I'm Janet. That's it, you know. So anyway, moving back
okay.
to...
I love that. Let's take that in a bit. Okay. So let's go back. Yeah. On CT, I like the chronological pursuit. However, what I also like is when you tease people about some of the things to come while offering them value, which is what you've done. Okay. So we can see this story goes into various degrees. It goes into years in Nairobi Chapel. But we are at this place, I think it's third year.
Yes, where I'd missed out on being a lawyer.
Yes.
And I've decided I'm coming back to do a law degree. Remember? That was, I was doing BA for
Yes,
my dad.
yes.
So that I can just finish that. Eh?
So do you finish it?
Yes, I finished
How many years? 3 or 4?
3 years.
3 or just 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to do 3 years, and I started applying. But by this time, I thought, hey, why am I doing an undergrad? So I thought I'm going to do an MBA. And I started applying. And remember, this is the same time people were asking me, hey, have you ever considered being a pastor? The way you are into Christian things. And I'm thinking, never. The year before, there was a group of guys who were in 3rd year when I was in 2nd year. When they completed the university studies, one of them is Tim Mwangi. He's currently the Vice Chancellor of International Leadership University here. Tim was doing electrical engineering. Tim got a 1st class honors, unheard of for years in our days.
Wow.
He is bright. Tim and 4 other guys, this is not Tim, my husband, Tim Mwangi.
Yes.
Tim Mwangi said no to every scholarship, everything that came his way, and joined Life Ministry.
What?
About 4 guys. So for the first time in my life, I thought pastors were academic dwarfs.
Yes.
How is it this guy
who is 1st class?
Electrical engineering has been offered master's degrees, Ivy League schools, everything, and he said no. That's the first time I paused and I thought there's something here. So I continued to serve, and at the end of it, I thought, I don't think I'll do law. It will take me back 4 years. Let me do an MBA, build up.
And at this time, is Pastor Oscar...
He's still there.
Is he looking at you in a special light?
No. He still knows we're all there.
Okay.
But he can see those of us who are very in the front.
Yes.
I don't ever remember him saying anything. It was mostly my friends, even Kina Timwangi, who would see me leading and say, have you ever considered full-time ministry? I'm like, and then in those days, we also had to raise your fund, your support.
Yes.
And when I tried to tell my dad, people keep saying, I didn't raise you to beg. And that cut it for me. So fast forward, I complete my studies at the University of Nairobi. Wonderful 3 years. Great fun. It was a year full of great thrills. 3 years.
First of all, let me say this. I'm so happy to hear you say that. Because great fun sounds unclean, especially in university. So when you've described this, your fun is not unclean. Do you get what I mean? It's this.
We were real university students.
Yes.
Monday and tired, even losing sleep. But somehow God allowed us. I don't know how. We were busy doing good things. We were busy being students, but having fun. Dancing, we danced. Maybe we didn't club, but we had our own spaces to do those things. We had our own, I would sometimes stage plays and go perform those plays in some churches or whatever. We went out hiking, we went out, all those things we did. But remember also, it's not, I'm sure if there was TikTok and all would be there, but we didn't have those things those days. So fast forward, I remember my last day at the University of Nairobi. We had a dinner at the chapel for all the leavers, okay? And they hosted us, and as I was walking back to Stella Winja, between Nairobi Chapel down on Mamlaka Road, it was one of the first times in my life where you almost feel like God is walking beside you and with an audible voice.
Wow.
I heard God distinctly say, I will bring you back to this place. Now remember me, I came from Nakuru. So me, I knew I'm done. I'm going back to Nakuru. And then God says, I will bring you back to this place. So I thought, and it was something that just settled, like this is a special message. At this time, I'm not thinking pastoral work, anything. I'm done with campus. As usual, my dad didn't want us lazing around. You come up with 2 options. And my friends, my first default was I was going to Word of Life, now as a counselor. My husband, Tim, was just a friend. Somehow in conversation, Tim tells me, but you know, Word of Life, you've always gone during campus as a counselor. Why don't you do something else? And we had a friend who had started something in Garissa, where he was trying to share the gospel with many of the Muslims there.
Garissa.
Yes.
Oops. Just one sec.